This is Weights and Wealth, your one-stop shop for entertaining education on building a stronger body and bank account.
We are not doctors or financial advisors and must warn you this is not medical or investing advice. It is for your entertainment.
Welcome back to Weights and Wealth. This is our 4th of July episode. So happy birthday, America. We're closing in on 250 years. I believe that's next summer, right?
Next summer. I'm a year older.
Yeah. Is the 250th anniversary of the greatest nation that the world has ever seen.
You think they'll also call that Trump's parade?
Maybe Trump's birthday. They just moved Trump's birthday. Yeah. He's decided to claim the whole summer. You know, it's the season of Trump. It's Trump summer.
The shout out for this episode is Kyle from Vancouver, Canada. That's right. The shout out on the 4th of July episode is not an American. Shout out to Kyle for sharing the pod on Instagram. Kyle, he shared the podcast on Instagram and then messaged us saying that it was his first ever Instagram story and we should be honored. So cool. Thank you, Kyle, for sharing that. He is currently trying to become an American, but, immigration, pretty brutal right now. So. But I did want to say that within the patriotism feeling that we have around 4th of July, immigrants to America often feel more strongly about America and the freedoms we get and the opportunities than people born in America because they have the experience of not having those things living outside of America first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. And then this week's wealth wisdom. So a little bit of background on it. I think a lot of people know that during the Revolution, America wanted to be free from Britain. And part of that was because they were taxing us. Mm-hmm. People know about the Boston Tea Party when they dumped a bunch of tea into the ocean or the Boston Harbor, right? Mm-hmm. Because their tea was being taxed at 2.6%.
It was 3. I think it was 3 cents on a dollar.
Yeah. And then, I know there was the Stamp Act. I don't know if there was anything else that you know.
Yeah, there were other ones too.
But on average, people paid about 1 to 1.5% of their income in taxes, and they started a revolution over it. And then now, people accept. You got your flat 7.65%. Social Security and Medicare taxes on everybody, up to $170,000. And then you also have a top income tax rate of 37% from the federal government, and then state taxes on top of it.
And local taxes.
And local taxes for some people.
Property taxes.
Yeah. And then there are these other little taxes that get worked in there too.
Yeah. Consumption tax, sales tax. Gas tax
in some states.
Even like Bloomberg tried to do like the soda tax.
Yeah.
Tobacco taxes, that's a thing. Alcohol.
What are those vice taxes?
Yeah, vice taxes.
Sin tax,
sin tax, yeah.
But yeah, even
just goes on and on and on. Death.
And your average person right now making, in like the 60s or 70s, if you're single, is paying 20-something% of their income to taxes.
Wow.
It's pretty crazy.
So things are 20 times worse now.
Yeah. Yeah.
In another 750 years, will anybody have any income to pay?
Everyone pays 98%.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, at this rate, it's going to be, but compound interest, it is, it's probably we have less time than that, guys. We need to work a reset here in the tax code. So the weights, So Ted, talk to us about this intro article you have pulled up. It's a lot of sciencey stuff.
Yes, lots of science, of course, always. So there's this PubMed study that came out where they wanted to see if people took a 10-week break from training, how long it would take for their muscle to come back. Because obviously during that time, you're going to lose a little bit of strength, lose a little bit of size. And they found that it takes only about 5 weeks for you to gain back when you're training consistently the muscle that you lost after taking a big break. So usually a lot of us that work hard in the gym and try to be really consistent. We freak out when it's like,
a week.
oh, I missed 4 days. Yeah. Or I missed a week or like 2 weeks. But you really don't have to be that worried. Just whenever your break is over, if something happens in your life, just get right back to it. So this is specifically for muscle, not for the fat side of things. That's a different story with with not being in the gym. But yeah, so when I was in Italy for a couple of weeks, I didn't have much opportunity to lift.
Well, you had a very scarring experience trying to lift on a cruise ship last time.
Yes, yeah. I did lift on a cruise ship again this time. But yeah, last time I was on a cruise ship on our honeymoon, I was doing RDLs. This is as I'd been rehabbing my back. I'm doing RDLs with the hundreds, no barbells. So
Rehab.
I take I was working. Rehab doesn't have to be little 5-pound dumbbells. But I'd been making a lot of progress, and I was using 100-pound dumbbells for RDLs, which is still relatively light for RDLs for like us. Yeah. And some 7-year-old was running around and bumped me in from behind, in my butt, while I was down in the lengthened portion of the RDL. And my back just instantly and so that was, I got to start the rehab over, couldn't move. My wife and I wound up getting massages though. So that was minor plus, had to be able to get into the zip line a couple days later. But anyways, so lifting on a cruise ship, not always great. Make sure there's no kids running around. There was a time this time where I went and there were a couple kids just kind of roaming around, and so I just was talking to another guy that I'd seen at the gym.
Maybe don't make yourself such a vulnerable target.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. But my point is, I only lifted twice while we were gone for 2 weeks in Italy, or 3 times. But I wasn't worried because I knew that once I came back here, I could just get back to it, and any gains that I would lose are going to come right back. So point of the study is,
don't be discouraged.
Don't be afraid if you have to take time off the gym for whatever reason. That muscle will come back, and it'll come back quickly. So
yeah. I mean, I've done this multiple times where during tax season, I just don't go for a couple months, and I think it takes me probably 4 to 6 weeks to get back to 90% strength.
Yeah, you said 4 to 6.
4 to 6, maybe.
Study
8.
said 5. So
well, yeah. I mean, I also wonder who the test subjects were because my weights drop a lot over 2.
So
3 months.
they had all the test subjects trained for at least 10 weeks beforehand.
Okay, not 10 years.
Yeah. Yeah, and so that's a good point because the more that you do train and the longer training age that you have, if you will. So our training ages are all over a decade. We've all been lifting for over a decade. So your training age is how long you've been consistently training. The bigger that your training age is, the better your muscle memory is, and faster it'll come back.
So it comes back fast, but it also kind of in terms of poundage, it drops a lot.
Yeah.
Because I am at such a high point, I think, for my biology. Whereas, if you live for 10 weeks, maybe you're a little bit stronger than you were before, not a bunch.
Yeah. Obviously, the more of a peak that you're at, that's going to take longer to get back to.
Yeah. So that's why I think it takes me a little bit longer than the 5 weeks. But
he's just saying he's on the right end of the bell curve.
Yeah.
right end of the bell curve, guy. Moving on.
Speaking of the bell curve, this would be the left end.
The left end of the bell curve. Well, I was gonna transition by saying, speaking of suicide to your muscles. Let's go to suicide of lemmings. So in the
can you tell us what a lemming is first?
It's
it's not a citrus candy.
It's like a vermin. It's like a vermin, right?
Varmint.
You say varmint?
Vermin or varmint?
I say vermin. You say varmin?
No, varmint. Varmint.
Oh, is that a word?
Yeah, you didn't know.
No,
you never read an old Western.
I have.
And the farmers there's. You're gonna shoot that varmint.
Oh, so just different pronunciation.
So
no, it's an entirely different word. It's
but it means the same thing.
It's like a derogatory
different word that means the same thing.
It's like a derogatory term for a small animal. It could be a bunny, a raccoon.
Yeah, so it's like a slang that's expanded on vermin.
Yeah, maybe I don't know.
Anyways, there's a very famous video that you probably saw in school growing up. We'll post it here in the video on the side.
That might get us taken down now.
Well, no, it's
Canceled.
It's a Disney video. So,
okay.
So Disney used to have this series. I think the video is from 1957, but they had this series that was kind of like an Earth or an Animals, like a Discovery Channel kind of thing. And they had a video of all these lemmings committing mass suicide off the side of a cliff into the ocean. And so people growing up in school would see this video and think, oh, lemmings will commit mass suicide sometimes. That's like kind of weird. It's like a weird behavior you find in the animal kingdom. It's actually not true at all. It's completely fraudulent. So this video that like everyone for the past 40 years growing up has seen in school is a completely fraudulent video. And what happened was Disney, just like for the views, wanted to create something interesting. So they took all of these lemmings, spun them around like a bunch in this huge cage, spun them around, and then released them outside of their ecosystem right next to the side of a cliff. So they were super disoriented when they came out of the cage, and they just started moving, and they all just started falling off the cliff. It's like one of the craziest stories I've ever heard. But I was wondering if you guys knew that, and I figured probably not. So.
I don't know if I've seen the lemming video. I'm thinking of a penguin one though, where a bunch of penguins jump off the side. Now they could just be diving in.
I think there's diving in for food.
They could be, but it's like a big cliff. Yeah.
I have no idea. That's interesting. Where did you find that?
Where did I find that?
Wait, you just like looking for dirt on Disney one day and like
No, I was trying, we were doing the outlines, and I was trying to think of like a talk, and I don't know where I originally saw it, but it was a while ago that I heard about it, and then I was like, oh, they probably haven't heard of that, 'cause it's like a really weird tidbit of Disney history. And then I don't
resident
know.
Disney adult.
It might have been like a Joe Rogan or like a Mind Pump thing that I originally heard, but I looked it up, and it's
potential future guest.
Potential future guests. Joe Rogan and Mind Pump.
So for this episode of Weights and Wealth, we're going to be talking about our favorite moments or individuals in American history based on our 5 F's. So we're going to go with faith first. Obviously, faith first matters. It's the only thing that matters. And in that, we have Pope Leo, first American Pope.
First American Pope.
This is big. This is big. So Pope Leo. Obviously, I think anyone listening to this now kind of knows who it is, particularly if you're an American citizen, because even if you are like very anti-Catholic Church or really have no idea what the Catholic Church is and never seen religion, you probably have heard about this guy named Leo.
There's been memes everywhere.
First, it's like pretty much inevitable. Every American probably knows who the Pope is now because he is an American. So he was originally planned to go to
a seminary straight out of high school. But it closed that year, I think.
Classic.
And then he ended up getting a Bachelor of Science of Math at Villanova. Nice. And then after he was done, he started teaching high school physics and math. And while also at Villanova, he studied Hebrew and Latin, which isn't normal. So, I mean, that was kind of an inkling, I guess, that he was going to go to the priesthood. Yeah, that's clearly
a theological approach. I want to study the Bible in depth. I'm going to learn Hebrew and Latin.
Yeah, because kind of on that, it is really important, which I don't know it, but to know the original language, to know like the connotations of each word, because things can be misinterpreted or lost in translation.
A lot. That happens a lot, particularly like with words like such as love. There's like 4 different types of love in like Greek and Latin.
Agape, philia.
Yeah, like all these things, but like someone who is not as initiated would read love or like one of those and just be like, oh yeah, like physical love.
Yeah.
I think not even just misinterpretations, because the Bible has been translated so well by so many scholars. I think the bigger thing is just to gain additional insights, because you have like an extra layer to the context of what they're saying with more descriptive words.
Yeah. And like, I didn't mean misinterpreted so much, which I mean, it has been, but just that like our language isn't capable of properly conveying what they were trying to at the time, because you are limited sometimes.
Yeah, I think the depth of it, like I think that like there's other things you can find in the text with those other languages.
Absolutely. But like kind of what Sean was talking about, like people in America will say, I love pizza, and I love you while talking to their wife.
Yeah.
Latin has different words for those things.
It's a lot more specific. Like the words matter a lot more about what you're saying.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he continued, obviously, in his educational path. He got a doctorate of canon law in 1987, and then started doing missionary work in Peru. And then he was elected the prior general, so like the head of the Augustinian order, and he served there for another decade. And then he was the Bishop of Chicago, or a bishop in Chicago in 2020 or 2015 to 2023. And then he was pushed up into the papacy just this year. I think when was that? Like February, March?
It was like March, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Like early this year.
Yeah.
Or April.
And
maybe,
he. Oh yeah, wait, yeah. So he went from cardinal to bishop very quickly. I think he was appointed in February of 25 to be a cardinal. Mm-hmm. And then he became pope.
Cardinal to pope, really quick.
3 months later, but I mean, he had been an archbishop for a while.
On all like the betting odds for who was going to be pope, he like wasn't.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Like top 5, top 7.
Yeah. Yeah,
I love
he
how
was
we
a dark
have
horse.
people that bet on popes.
Well, people bet on anything. Yeah.
All right.
And I mean, yeah, he has pretty traditional Catholic views overall. Which I mean, I know like they're in like the views that popes have are in the news a lot, and I think are often misinterpreted. And across the board, they're very similar. Mm-hmm. It's just, people will take something they say and then just run with it, trying to push something that they agree with. But I mean, yeah, on all the social issues, he's traditional Catholic. He's been critical of AI. And then he's also talked about social media and that people have a responsibility to not use it in a poor way to divide. Mm-hmm. So I think that's fair. A whole lot more about him, but
not a ton. I haven't really, done a deep dive on him yet, but
yeah, I mean,
he seems pretty steady so far.
Within the context of Catholic views, he's like kind of known as a centrist, just pretty moderate, average.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of like, if you want to go deep into the church politics, like there's all sorts of crazy things that people are like, like, oh, this means this, like the implication of him wearing this, traditional garment means that, it's a return to tradition, like refuting Francis, or he'll like say something or do something and they'll be like, oh, he's just a continuation of Francis, or like, Vatican II, like, it's all.
Why did he choose this name? Is it because the last pope named this name?
Yeah. There's a lot that you can read into, and
it's all very speculative.
I generally try and avoid that.
Let's jump into our fitness F. We mentioned him on our 100th episode. So if you go to episode 100, we go over 100 years of history of fitness and finance in America and a lot of the developments. And a big portion of the fitness part of that episode, we talked about Jack LaLanne. So some of Jack LaLanne's impressive feats, some of the most impressive feats in American history. At age 43, he swam the Golden Gate Channel while towing a 2,500-pound boat. This 1 mile channel wound up being closer to a 6 mile swim because there were severe ocean currents, and people told him you should postpone it and do it on a day with like normal weather. So that's pretty crazy, but it gets crazier. He also did stuff well into his 60s and 70s, stayed extremely active, really practiced what he preached his whole life. At age 42, he set a world record of 1,033 push-ups in 23 minutes. He'd probably max the ACFT or the Army Fitness Test. At age 70, he did this at age 60 and at 70. But he swam the Alcatraz to Fisherman's Wharf lane or kind of route. Yeah, I'm not sure if it's called a channel because it's you're going to Fisherman's Wharf.
Okay.
But it's like a common route that swimmers will attempt as like a challenge. So at age 70, he did that while he was handcuffed and shackled and towing 13 boats for 13 colonies. And it wound up being about, it's 1.5 straight line distance, but it wound up being about a 2-mile swim. At age 70, that is.
How do you do that? Do you swim like a dolphin?
Yeah, he's probably just like flapping like a dolphin and then holding with his mouth, like the rowboats. You know how people will, that was like a very old time strongman thing, is people would pull stuff by like, they would have chains and then the chain would go to like leather or something that they would bite down on, and they would use like your bite strength was like an important part of being strong, kind of like grip strength.
Okay.
That's like very, very common in old time strongman type lifts and feats.
I don't even know if I could complete a 2-mile swim, let alone handcuffed and shackled at 70 towing boats
in the ocean.
So yeah,
you're dealing with waves too.
That's insane.
Yeah. So Jack LaLanne, absolute dog. R.I.P.
Yeah. For finance, we have two guys here. I'm just going to do a super broad overview because everybody knows who Andrew Carnegie is, but I think that he is definitely one of like the more interesting figures in history, not just because of his like kind of rags to riches story, but the impact that he had on the whole world, like after, like even now, like we still have Carnegie Mellon and all this stuff that he founded. But so, you know, he obviously was born in Scotland. He came over here around 12 years old and he was like working in cotton mills and stuff. And then he, you know, started, you know, working his way up different entry level jobs. By the time he was in his early 20s, he was, you know, serving as a secretary for a guy in the Pennsylvania Railroad Company. And that's how he got his introduction to the railroad. And then, you know, he starts investing his stuff, kind of insider trading. He did do that, but that kind of built the basis for his capital, you know, and like that he could use to like further invest and stuff. So, you know, can't be mad at the guy. I don't know if insider trading was like illegal back then. You know, it's probably just like a good old boy deal. Yeah, because like he was homies with this dude and was like, hey, I'll do this if you do this. Like, sweet, sounds good. Sweet. You know. So basically, he, you know, just kind of worked his way up, made some smart investments, made good relationships, was well known for being super charismatic. Interestingly enough, he actually served as the railroad superintendent during the Civil War, for as the military, like the head of all military railroads in the East. Okay. And all telegraph lines. And he jokingly claimed that he was the first casualty of the Civil War because after the Civil War was declared, you know, the telegraph lines were getting cut and stuff. And so he went out to go fix one and he was repairing it and the wire snapped and it like slashed him across the face. So he used to jokingly claim that he was the first casualty of the Civil War. But yeah, so he was, you know, eventually bought out of his, you know, Carnegie Steel, and his share of that buyout from J.P. Morgan was almost a quarter billion at that time, and so he used all that wealth throughout the rest of his life to found thousands of libraries, institutions, groups, you know, like think tanks, stuff like that even today are still, you know, being an active part of society. So I really thought that he was a super interesting character. And like the more I read about him, actually, this is one of the more like incredible things that he did. Just like incredible as in like, just like wow, like you were that rich that you can do this. But when Teddy Roosevelt annexed the Philippines after the Spanish-American War, mm-hmm. I think like Spain, like he paid Spain $20 million to take it over from them. You know, and Carnegie offered to buy the Philippines from Teddy Roosevelt for $20 million.
Oh, I thought you said Carnegie paid Spain. Okay.
Well, no, but he tried to. Basically. Yeah, he tried to buy the Philippines so that he could give it back to the Filipinos, because he was very anti-imperialist, and he was like, we should not be an empire. And so, like when Roosevelt like took control for $20 million, he was like, nah, let me pay you back. He offered the Filipinos $20 million to buy their country back.
That's awesome.
That's hilarious because in school you always learn like Carnegie was a terrible dude, robber baron, blah blah blah, stole from everyone. That's funny.
No. Then we have Musk here as well. Did you write this one?
Well, we were gonna maybe do multiples, but we'll just skip. I can do the freedom one.
Yeah.
So I'd never heard of this guy before the outline, but I was looking for figures during the Revolutionary War that had a huge impact. And this huge dude was a big part of the Revolutionary War. So his name was Peter Francisco, or originally Pedro San Francisco. He was adopted by Patrick Henry's uncle. So he was kind of cousins with Patrick Henry.
Interesting.
But he was Portuguese and kind of showed up just as a kid without any family somehow on a ship at like 6 or 7 years old, and then was an orphan that was adopted and wound up being 6'6" and 265 pounds. Just an absolute giant. Some of his nicknames during the Revolutionary War were the Virginia Giant, Virginia Hercules, and the Giant of the Revolution. I can't imagine back then seeing this dude on the battlefield. Because people talk about how big George Washington was compared to everyone. And
he was like 6'1".
6'1", 6'2".
Yeah.
This guy's 4 inches taller.
65 pounds. You got freaking Gronk out there.
It's American muscle, baby.
Yeah. So he's actually like in a lot of battle logs that were like letters that were written by generals and colonels to George Washington. So we know he was a real soldier, and we know that he was a real person from a lot of other records and everything. Had multiple kids, was married a few different times after his wives died. But he was a real person, and he was actually very large. Whether it's exaggerated a little bit, he did perform like strongman acts for George Washington at Valley Forge and other places. So pretty cool. He's kind of like a circus dude, and also a soldier that was a casualty on the battlefield multiple times. He showed up at Yorktown right after the battle ended, but was there for when the British surrendered. So I kind of thought of like the old guard putting all the tall dudes out front. They probably had him like right out front. But one of the most impressive feats of strength that he had, because I was originally going to make this the fitness one, but the army was down in Camden, South Carolina, and some of the cannons got stuck in mud, and they were trying to move them out, and they left one behind because they just couldn't move it, and he just went and picked it up and carried it on his shoulders. And there's like, so based off the cannons at that time, the cannons they were using, there's a TV show, Strongest Man in History, and also historical scholars from around that time, they estimate that the cannon was between 300 and 350 pounds. And so people couldn't move it, and he just went up and picked it up and then carried it on his shoulders. Oh my gosh. So that they didn't have to leave it behind. So all around, super cool, interesting freedom figure that I don't think any of us have ever heard of before. So I just thought that was super cool. And, like some of the other ones on here, an immigrant that came to America and wound up fighting for America. And, thought it was a good 4th of July one.
It's very cool. So I think that pretty much concludes what about family?
I don't think we have a family one. That's on us.
Yeah. Guess our families are just not patriotic enough. What would you guys usually do for the 4th of July?
Oh, so 4th of July, we always get together. My cousins and our family and my grandparents, we all grew up real close to each other. So every holiday we would get together at my grandparents' house. But, we're going back up again this year. But, just normal stuff, cook out and just hanging out.
Would you guys ever shoot each other with the fireworks?
My dad would do fireworks shows sometimes, but we wouldn't shoot each other.
I remember my cousin, we built a PVC bazooka.
Yep.
And we would use that in airsoft wars sometimes.
To shoot fireworks?
Yeah, we would shoot fireworks, exploding fireworks at each other. It's a bad idea, but
Terrible.
That's hilarious.
Probably like the worst idea I've ever heard. My brother one time, he was really little, but there was a bonfire and there were some bottle rockets like on one of the tables, and he just takes a bottle rocket and throws it into the fire, and everyone's like, no! Everyone just gets down.
Jack.
That was Hugh.
Oh, Hugh?
That was Hugh. He was probably like 6 years old.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's like
funny.
M80s, you know, like the quarter stick of dynamite, stuff like that.
Yeah.
My buddy's dad loves those, and like he would just buy like boxes of quarter sticks of dynamite, and like, I still remember being like 7 years old and watching his dad like just go out in the yard by himself, like no one else is around. Like we were in the kitchen like making peanut butter and jelly or something, and I see my friend's dad, who's like, you know, late 40s, early 50s at this time, you know, gray hair. He's like just walks out there, lights it, sticks it under a can and starts running away, like laughing maniacally. Like he's just by himself in the backyard. Like he's not doing it for any of his kids. Like he's just out there blowing stuff up because he's having fun.
Nick, what about you? What did you usually do for 4th of July?
I mean, nothing like a block party. Like our neighborhood usually had one.
Yeah.
Just everybody would bring something to eat, and like the kids would all just run around and play. And yeah,
it's a good time to get together with either your family or community and celebrate. Just be careful with any fireworks.
Yeah, make some deliberate plans with your families this year. All right, we'll see you guys next week after the 4th of July, sadly.
Yes. Well, this episode actually airs on July 7th. So it's post July. Oops.
All right. Well,
hope you had a good 4th of July.
Lame.
It's not a Tuesday. 4th of July is on like a Wednesday or Tuesday or something.
This is a special.
All right. See you guys next week.
Thanks for joining us today at Weights and Wealth. And don't forget to apply today's lessons to live healthy and wealthy.
If this conversation will contribute to your fitness and financial gains, please share it with a friend or family member and give a 5-star review so more people can lift bigger weights and get bigger bank accounts.